I don't know how to turn recording off. Oh, here we go.
Hello teachers, this is Bron Parkin and I'm Julie Hayes, and we're here to tell you a little bit about our book, Teaching the Language of Climate Change Science. We know that teachers and kids especially are really interested in climate change, and we know it's a really hard thing for teachers to teach. Although there's lots of resources around the place, it's connecting the resources with the curriculum and with the science in the curriculum, and then with the sustainability cross-curriculum priority. So what we've done is try and take that arduous job away from you by looking at the curriculum and finding the science that relates to climate change, making that connection really explicit, and then connecting it to the cross-curriculum priority of sustainability. So this is the front cover of our book, and you'll see that we've used a bit of a theme of the Antarctic because Australia's got connections to the Antarctic, and the impacts of climate change are going to be very visible, or are visible now in the Antarctic.
So what we've done in the book, we are both teachers, we're both educators. So we've tried to reduce the hard work for primary level teachers who are supposed to be generalists and teaching across the learning areas. So we've looked at the science curriculum. Now it's the Australian science curriculum, but science is science wherever you are, and wherever we possibly can, we've identified inquiry questions which are related to climate change at an age appropriate level, because we don't want young children full of climate change anxiety. Their job is to learn how to love the world, and as they go through the new levels, to become more and more familiar with that. So the book offers a whole lot of resources for teachers. First of all, model texts to give teachers ideas of the language that they can use to talk about climate change at an age-appropriate level. A whole lot of activities and a sequence of activities for teaching about inquiry about climate change. So, for example, year 2, 3, you're learning about materials. Focus on plastics and the effect of plastics on the environment. Or if you're doing changes in states of matter, then there's an inquiry question about land. Oh, Julie, help me out here. The land ice and the...
Yeah, land ice and sea ice. If land ice melts, sea level rises. And of course, if the oceans get warm, sea level rises. If sea ice melts, it doesn't impact on sea levels. So those are the basics that kids need to understand.
And by the time they get to year 7, then they're looking at human-induced greenhouse gases and the effect of that in much more detail. So there are all these activities, and as much as we can, we have worked on finding reliable resources. Thank you to NASA for Kids, because that's been so good, and we've used a lot of NASA for Kids, but lots of other reliable places too, because there's just, you can spend hours trying to find resources at an age-appropriate level.
And at the end of the book is chapter 9, and that's full of activities for you to choose so that your children can feel hopeful and active and in control of their destiny, in a sense, because it can feel overwhelming to learn the details of climate change, and we don't want people to be paralysed by what they learn. We want them to be active and wanting to change the world for the better by their own actions, but through advocacy as well. And chapter 9 gives you those options.
Yeah, and we've tried to sequence those as well at age-appropriate level. Lots of schools do recycling, but we're trying to say when you're in foundation or year 1 year, then here's your sphere of influence. By the time you get to year 7, you're working with local councils, etc. So the book's available as an ebook or as hard copy if you're in Australia, and it's available from the PETA website, the primary